Hey everybody, this podcast is brought to you by audible.com. You can go to www.audibletrial.com/TNRL, and there you can sign up for a free 30-day trial membership, and with that free 30-day trial membership, you get a free audiobook download. It's a great way to support the show. It's a great way to get something free. Audible is the web's leading provider of audio media. They have periodicals, books, magazines, podcasts, everything. If it's audio format, it's probably there. And it'll play on any MP3 player you have, your iPhone, your iPad, your whatever. Again, that website is www.audibletrial.com/TNRL for a free 30-day membership and a free audio download. Take it away, Ken.
Jesus got out here.
I thought I was a good Christian.
Jesus died on a cross. I go to church every Sunday. Jesus got out here. Then I read that Jesus died on a cross for a rotten hooker.
I thought I was a good Christian.
I go to church every Sunday.
I thought I was a good Christian.
I go to church every Sunday. I am a very religious person.
I thought I was a good Christian.
The very lie the serpent told to Eve in the Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden. The gospel of Jesus Christ spreads confusion and promotes lies. The gospel of Jesus Christ spreads confusion and promotes lies. The gospel of Jesus Christ spreads confusion and promotes lies. The gospel of Jesus Christ spreads confusion and promotes lies. The gospel of Jesus Christ spreads confusion and
Hey everybody, it is January 3rd, 2013, new year officially now, and very excited to be back on the regular, you know. Last week was not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
even
Sadly,
if
this is the most consistent I've stuck with anything in my entire life.
That's probably pretty true for myself too. I mean, we're coming up on the 2-year mark.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, it's been...
2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I mean, like I said last week, we have a lot of stuff that's kind of sitting on the back burner, you know. While we were gone, the religious crazies kind of had their way and just ran amok for a while. And there was no one to bitch about.
Yeah. I'm sure other people were bitching, but I didn't get to bitch about
Well,
it.
real quick, before we get into our bitching, why don't, for the new listeners, introduce who we are?
Okay.
We have a new listener.
That's a weird thing to say. Sure, we can start off by introducing ourselves.
No.
I'm Ken, I'm your host. And all the way up in the Bay Area is Bob.
How's it going?
And Jason.
Hello.
And so, yeah, we got some good stuff to talk about. Let's start off with the Pope.
Pontiff Palpatine.
Pontiff Palpatine. So Pope Benedict XVI, in a very funny Richard Dawkins Foundation post that we shared around with each other earlier today, was talking about his blessing for Ugandan homophobia.
That is...
Man,
that guy sucks. This guy's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're the head of what is arguably the largest religion in the world. You know, Catholicism is just gigantic. You know, it's the single largest sect there is. And I mean, you know, he's occupied with bringing Catholicism into the 21st century, so he starts a Twitter account. You know, like how about moving towards more progressive theology, if that's what you want to do. If you want to have your cake and eat it too, and be religious and have theology, let's start like stepping it up. You know,
well, let's talk about what he did. So the Ugandan minister who promised to deliver the policy of the death penalty to homosexuals in Uganda as a Christmas present to the people of Uganda, then went and sought counsel with the Pope, was granted an audience, and then a blessing.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I have almost. I really have no words. Like it's such a. Like it's such a horrendous thing. Like you expect it to almost be like a parody, like an Onion article, you know, like, you know, Pope blesses, you know, bill in Uganda that kills gays. You know, you don't expect that to be a real thing, and it is, and it's horrendous. How anyone can still be a Catholic is absolutely beyond me.
Yeah, that's being rough to Catholics these days, not kind.
Yeah. I mean, the Pope is rough to Catholics. Jesus.
So in that guy's blog post on the Dawkins Foundation, the guy makes a really good point. He's like, when did the Catholic Church stop being about feeding the hungry and clothing the poor, and became all about anti-abortion and anti-gay? When did that happen?
Yeah.
You know,
was it?
It used to be if you were Catholic, you know, sure, the Catholic Church had its problems, but you could proudly say that you were part of an organization that their, you know, that their mission in the world, at least the face that they put forward, was to feed the hungry and clothe the poor. And that is not the case anymore.
No. It hasn't been that way for a while now. The Catholic Church is just riddled with problems, and this is definitely one of the bigger ones. It makes me, I don't know, man.
And they're also very anti-woman now.
Yeah.
Remember there was that bunch of the nuns who had the gall, they were going to speak out against the church, against church policies, when what they wanted to do, in fact, was feed the hungry, clothe the poor.
How dare they have a progressive, 1960s view of what the Catholic Church should be. I remember reading about that. It was the group of nuns that what they wanted to do. But fuck, so much shit happened over the break when we were gone. Which church was it? The Catholics that said to fight against same-sex marriage and stuff like that. They threatened to stop feeding the poor.
That sounds like maybe something the Catholic Church would have done, but I can't say for sure.
I forget if it was the Catholics. It was a Christian group. And how is fighting against a civil right issue more important than the one let's fight against a thing that Jesus never talked about.
Yeah.
And as leverage, will threaten not to do the thing he commanded us to do. Well,
that was always my thing about the Catholic Church in general, was that at least with Catholicism, it involved works. You had to have good works. It wasn't just, I accept Jesus Christ as my Savior, boom, you're into heaven. At least with Catholicism, there was, you had to have good works to get into heaven. That was one of the requirements, but not anymore.
Yeah. And for a long time, that was my stance on Catholics too. Catholics' acceptance of works over faith was gigantic, because exactly for that. And I mean, there is the whole thing in Catholicism with confession, where you can just confess for horrible things, but technically the priest has to feel that you actually are you are sorry about something that you did.
Sure. But it wasn't just confession too. Confession also brings about penance.
Yes.
Right.
And,
so
those penance
good
are
works,
usually
confession, and penance.
Prayers. But
3 Hail Marys, you're out on the street.
Exactly. but that's time I could use to watch TV.
Yeah.
How am I going to know what happened on Mad Men last night? I had to do 50 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers.
That's why God invented DVRs.
Yeah.
God invented DVRs to save his sinning flock from missing their favorite shows because of penance.
Yeah, just this is 2 times in a week that we've dinged on the Pope. Remember last week he doubled down on gay marriage. So he's so opposed to gay marriage that he's inviting other faiths to join him in that fight.
Yeah, the interfaith alliance against gay marriage, headed by the Pope.
Isn't that the sign of the end times?
Maybe
The Antichrist.
Maybe.
They say that about everything else. So why not?
I think it's usually a sign of catching someone in a motel bedroom with a male prostitute and a bunch of men.
Are you saying the Pope got caught in the bathroom with a bunch of men?
Just saying, we might be able to set our watch to it.
Yeah. Nah,
You know?
he's got too much like cover up and people working to, hide the truth. If there is anything, I'm not saying there is or not. I'm just, if there is, we'll never hear about it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. And I mean, I'm sure he had his share. My cat is being awful right now. She jumped up onto the refrigerator and then meowed at me and knocked a bottle of aspirin off the top.
Cats will do that, man. They'll like look at you and knock shit over. Pay attention to me, or I'll knock shit over.
So, maybe we've dinged on the Pope enough, and we can move on to our second favorite sort of, I don't know, beating post. Which is of course David Barton.
Oh, he's awful. He's so awful.
He's awful too. I know.
Man, you want to talk about half truths? He's your guy.
Yeah. No shit.
And
right?
he's even deceptive too. Right? So, I'll let you bring up the article and we'll talk about it.
Oh my god. Okay. So this is a math and I love it. It's on Right Wing Watch. It's on their blog. A math and reading comprehension lesson for David. And it was on a broadcast of Wall Builders Live. And Barton exclaimed that President Obama won the re-election because voters, quote, were not thinking right. And one of the reasons voters don't think right is because the higher education system is dominated by Obama supporters, as demonstrated by the fact that, according to Barton, 96% of professors at Ivy League colleges donated to Obama's campaign. This is not true. What it was apparently was 96% of donations made by faculty and staff at Ivy League schools went to the Obama campaign. But
that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. Because imagine one person at an Ivy League school donates to Obama. That's 100% of the people at that school who made donations donating to Obama. That's not 100% of the staff donating to Obama.
So either he misread it or he doesn't understand it, but you would think that, since he claims to have this math background, that I'm a math guy, I'm a science guy, I understand these things, that he would understand it, but clearly he doesn't. Or he does understand
be a former math teacher, right? Or he was a former math teacher?
Yeah. But the converse or the opposite is worse. That he does understand it, and then willfully manipulates the facts, or willfully manipulates the language around the facts to suit him. Because that's what it seems like to me.
Absolutely. When the facts don't match your story, manipulate your story, or manipulate the facts to match your story. And this is, he's just, Bob, it was you, because you have a friend who works at the Jefferson Foundation or something like that?
The Jefferson Foundation is on the show Bones. Oh, my camera's
Yeah.
blurring out.
Yeah. And your buddy was just like, this guy's just absolutely full of shit. You know, Barton is just he's so full of it. He likes to massage facts, and he sometimes I swear he just like pulls crap out of thin air, you know, and it's like he lacks not only math comprehension here, but really basic reading comprehension.
I think he's purposely being deceptive, and here's why. His website, that show, is Wall Builders Live, right? But and what they're purporting
It's
to
not
do,
even live.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh my God. But they're all about tearing down the establishment clause, and they're called wall builders.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so deceptive. It's again like those groups that are trying to gain favor, pick that nice sounding language. Remember, like the American Family Association. You're opposed to them. People are like, what? You don't like Americans or families? What's the matter with you? No,
Yeah.
they're anti-gay. I can't stand them.
Yeah, exactly. What you don't know about Wall Builders Live is that they donate some of their money to local contractors who build walls of churches.
Right, yeah. As they work to tear down the establishment clause. That's not really
Yeah.
a wall. That's a metaphorical one-way barrier. That's what we're talking about. Nah, that guy's awful. And I really think that he's being purposefully deceptive. I think he's got to be purposely deceptive. And but let's think about for a minute let's look at that statistic on just like the face value of it, like not twisted around or anything, but so of all the donations made by Ivy League professors, 96% of those went to the Obama administration, the Obama re-election campaign, right?
Yeah.
That's what that's saying.
Yeah.
So if you're an Ivy League professor, I would probably say when you go to parties, you're the smartest guy in the room. Right?
It's a possibility. I mean, it's maybe playing up.
I mean, maybe I'm being a little too generous, but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
96% of the smartest guys are all going in one direction, don't you wonder why? Like maybe these guys are the smartest guys. They're Ivy League professors for a reason. It's not easy. It's not something everybody can do.
Yeah. And you know what? I wouldn't doubt if. I mean, these aren't just evil evolutionist assholes.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
This is probably. I wouldn't doubt if some of those donations came from Harvard Divinity School.
Or or maybe like Harvard School of Economics or something.
Yeah. I'm sure professors at the religious studies and the theology programs at both these schools are probably swinging all the same way too. But I feel like this is what David Barton and all of his ilk, they do this thing where they try to demonize anyone who is and to throw out the buzz term that you'll hear is elitist. Oh, those liberal elites, they're fat cats. Who do they think they are? So smart, and no one needs that there book learning.
It's true, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
and I
Not that book learning.
yeah, and I get it. Like, an Ivy professor is going to be less identifiable. Are you drinking moonshine?
Pay no attention.
I ain't need no book learning.
You live in the Bay Area, at least.
You can take the boy out of Texas, but you can't. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I get the idea that science is hard and academics is hard, and people with PhDs are far less relatable to than that down home pastor. But and that's something that they exploit. Don't listen to these smart people. They're smart. They don't know how you think. They don't know what you want. listen to me, because it's not like I'm trying to sell you a shitty product.
I just really, like, if you go someplace and my camera's all hosed up.
Put a little Vaseline on the lens.
Apparently he did.
I got the Robert Redford effect going on.
He wanted a soft look,
lenses.
so.
I know, I'm going for that soft look. It makes me more desirable.
Oh, shit. Anyway, go ahead, Bob. I'll fix it.
Yeah, fix that shit, Jason.
Just talk.
But like it's like going someplace like at the rocket science convention when 96% of rocket scientists say this is the best rocket. Well, it probably is.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about smart people is that they know things, and they tend to know a lot of things about a lot of different things. When it comes to politics, I would put not that I would agree necessarily, but I would like to listen to what people who teach at prestigious colleges think. You know why? Because they probably have very developed, nuanced opinions about things that take into account a lot of things. But you know what? And this is actually something that's really funny. This whole thing right here is causing a backlash. The fact that President Obama was reelected has caused a huge backlash. Did you read that Fox News has seen its lowest viewership in like years? Like their ratings just plummeted.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be a surprise. Like that's inevitable. People are going to wake up.
Yeah. It's because they were predicting like a landslide victory for Romney.
Even after he had already lost.
Yeah. I mean, they were clinging to it. Like, if the story doesn't fit, make it.
Well,
so
this whole discussion sort of revolves around the election. But remember that guy? What was his name? Was it Joel Silver? That he wrote a book about polling and statistics, and he got dismissed as a liberal nut job, and his predictions, his models for the election were exactly right. He was exactly right, and he didn't have any politics in the discussion. He was just talking about the fact of the matter. He's just a guy doing math, and his models were exactly correct.
But it was liberal math.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a different. But and here's the thing, right? Is that do I think that the university system is broken? Probably yes. Do I think that these Ivy League universities and their ivory towers and all of that is sort of like inaccessible to people? Yes, it's a problem. It probably should be fixed. I hope that it is. Earning a PhD isn't just about like how smart you are. It's really about like how well you navigate the hurdles and jump through the hoops and how good of a support network you have. But at the end of the day, you still got to be pretty smart to do it. So, is it broken? Yes. Does it need to be fixed? Yes. Do the people know what they're talking about? Yes, they do. That doesn't negate the fact that they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe not about politics necessarily, but I mean, I think this is it's a symptom of a larger problem where people don't tend to trust the highly educated.
So how does schools like Regent University and other schools get away with that? Because they're getting a higher education, like Matt, their co-host or Coalesce. He's has a higher education in religious teachings and Christian fundamentalism.
Yeah.
How do they justify that you can't get it from that school, but if you come from this school, everything?
I mean, more
Yeah,
of that.
they
Matt's
do
a
that.
professor.
They
Not. Wait. Let me do a disclaimer. I'm not saying Matt does that at all.
Oh no, I think Matt's an absolutely
Matt,
great guy.
Yeah, I mean, we do a show with him, so I just used him as an example because we all have common ground of understanding where he comes from. So anyway, go ahead.
Oh well, what I was going to say was that like those universities, they want to compete in those academic realms. They want to swim in those.
They don't have a
academic
science
circles.
course.
Well, I didn't say science. I said academic,
Yeah.
right? And so what they do is on one hand, they say, oh, it's not fair because, their academic structure is too rigid and we can't break into that ivory tower. And then on the other hand, they come out with like their own peer-reviewed journals to like play like they're swimming in that academic circle, and it always falls short. So it's like on the one hand they say, oh, we can't break into the academics, and then at the same time they put forth their own substandard academics, which happens a lot. Which is why you see guys like who's the Dr. Dino guy? Is that Ham?
Yeah. Or no, not Ken Ham. That's
Hovind.
Hovind.
Is it
Ken Hovind.
Paul Hovind? But he's a guy like Dr. Dino. I have a doctorate from some mail order college, right? But he stresses the importance of his doctorate, but he didn't really earn it.
So this kind of falls into the conversation we've had previously on this show about how, I forgot who it was, but they had a master's degree, had a doctorate degree, and they own the school. They're like the husband and the wife actually own the school. Oh, right,
from the school. Right, they had a doctorate from a school they owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I forget who that was, but yeah.
They were the what is that group called? Oh, because they're scary as shit too. They're the Seven Pillars and the shit.
I remember talking about them, but I don't remember what group it was.
It's all right.
We can look it up. It's fine. It's in the show notes somewhere.
You can go to zombiepopcorn.com and search for it.
He searched through the 69 episodes we have now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to belittle someone's theology degree, because if someone does the work and they've earned it, then yeah, sure. And like you said, Ken, those 96%ers at the Ivy League universities that were donating, those people at Ivy League universities that were in the 96% that donated to the Obama re-election campaign, they could have been theology teachers. They could have been philosophy instructors. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were all like math and science, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. No. But another thing is that it's disingenuous because he was saying 96% of all the professors donated when you say 96. Let's say that 96 professors are the only professors that, out of all the Ivy League schools, only 96 professors, donated. That's still like well short of like the number of professors who teach. Or 96% of the donations came from, say 100 professors donate. 96 of them donate to Obama. That's probably still like, what? 15% of the professors at all the schools combined,
right, yeah.
So really you have like 14% of Ivy League professors donating to Obama, not 96. And that's the problem I have, is that he took a number and I feel like he did it intentionally, like he does with so many other things, where he intentionally manipulated the number and kind of said it in a way that makes it sound like it's something that it's not.
Well, I think he does it in a way that's even sort of sinister, because in the article, like in the transcript of what he said, where he says like, oh, those people, they weren't thinking right. We need to change the way people think. Like, how were they thinking? Were they thinking critically and for themselves? Because we really need to put a stop to that right now. That is really a threat. We need to nip that in the bud.
Yeah, and I, what, I think that's probably what he's saying.
Right.
How dare these professors think for themselves? Don't they know they should buy every single crappy line I spew out into the media?
Right, or worse yet, they're teaching other people to think for themselves or to think critically. Oh, yeah. The horror. The worst. Training people to have bullshit detectors, But what he's really worried about is them putting him out of business by doing that.
Well, do we know what his financial status is? I mean, is he making a lot of money from this? Do we know that? Do we have
he makes
any?
a lot of money from his book.
Yeah,
I know that.
his recent book was The Jefferson Lies. Right?
Okay.
He's
Didn't
got
it
to read
get-
that's his book, right? The Jefferson Lies?
Yeah.
And
But-
that's the one that got just utterly destroyed.
But just to play the devil's advocate, I mean, Ken has a book out and is working on another book. I mean, just because you have books out and you make some money on it doesn't mean you're making a killing on it. There has to be something more to it for him, for these statements to be made that he's taking advantage of people.
I mean, I don't really care how much money he makes. That's really not the issue. The issue is that he has a platform, he has an audience, and he lies. And he lies by manipulating he lies by using manipulative language to alter the truth.
So no pet psychics.
No
or-
pets. Right. Yeah, to say that 96% of Ivy League professors donated to the Obama administration is incorrect. It's demonstrably false.
So you have no problem with him making those statements and selling books on it. Your core value is that he's deliberately lying to push his own agenda.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If he can convince people that he is, right about something, he's convincing people to buy his books. And I really think it comes down to that.
But I mean, I guess the thing is why is that so bad? I mean, it's not uncommon, even for booksellers to I mean, our daytime TV is based on it. Dr. Phil, all these, individuals on in our culture who push forward half truths, full blown out lies, fear mongering, so they can make money, so they can sell a book, so they can sell a T-shirt or whatever it may be. Why is this individual, and I'm not taking up for him, I'm just why is this individual any different from that? Or are you just kind of pinpointing this moment because this is an overall problem in the world?
Oh, I'm totally pinpointing this moment because it's an overall problem in the world. I mean, it's reprehensible. Nothing I hate more than fear mongering on TV and half truths and Dr. Phil. I can't stand Dr. Phil. I mean, he's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
In college, actually, I used to play a game called If You Could Go Back in Time and Prevent the Birth of One Celebrity, Who Would It Be? And I asked my my roommate, Martin, before I had even finished the sentence, he was just like, Dr. Phil. I was like, wow.
Wait. When
done
did
asking the
you
question.
said high school or college?
College.
Okay, because I got scared there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. Like, sure, Dr. Phil's allowed to sell his books. Dave Barton is allowed to sell whatever books he wants. But Dave Barton is also, he's also building a political movement. And it's based on things that aren't true. He's calling people to action based on things that aren't true. If Dr. Phil tells you to, eat less and exercise more for a healthy lifestyle, and you can do it better by reading my book, that's kind of harmless. And
Well, then take Dr. Oz for example.
he's kind of the same way. Although I do have problems with Dr. Oz.
It's
But-
douchey. It's douchey.
And you're like, I don't like
It's
Dr. Oz either.
morally reprehensible.
And
Yeah.
and I think that Barton is of that ilk, and he's a particular problem because not only is he not just urging people to take action with regards to like diet and exercise in their lifestyle, he's urging people to take political actions that affect you and I.
But how's that any different from any other religious organization throughout the history of the world. I mean,
None,
just
which is why
in
we're
the
doing this
conversation.
show.
I know, but just in the conversation of this show, we talk about how kings and rulers of the land went in to rewrite the wording to benefit them.
Right.
That's no
Not many
different.
kings
That's
left around, are there?
not to give Barton to that level of plateau of king or ruler, but that is no different than what his religious teachings have taught him through the years of what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see your point, and I think that I draw the distinction between like the Dr. Phils and the Dr. Oz's and the Bartons is because, if you like Dr. Oz, you like Dr. Phil, and you take his advice, all you really do is affect your own life. But when you start building a political movement that votes and changes policy and changes the world that I live in too, well, then I have an interest in it.
And that interest could be good or bad. For example, we have 2 out of 3 lifetime animal activists on this show. And we're trying to change policy and the way people view the world.
Sure, right.
But since you subscribe to that, it's a little bit different, right? Or is it not?
I'm not benefiting outright from my own activist work. Like I'm not doing it for my own political ends, and I think that's a distinction to take into account.
I mean, I think that's a good distinction. I think that's definitely a good answer to that question, because there's a difference between being an advocate and then being a profiteer.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Barton. I did say, I don't care how much money he makes, but I do think it's relative to say that if there wasn't any money in it, he wouldn't be doing it.
Probably wouldn't be doing it, yeah, no doubt.
Like the Glenn Becks and the...
Yeah, he found religion really quick, didn't he?
Because there was money in it. And the Bill O'Reillys, if there wasn't money in it, they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, no, for sure. How much time do we have left?
We're at 36 now.
We're at 36? Okay. Let's switch gears really quick.
Okay.
I want to cover this
gears.
very, very quickly because I do have a special treat for the guests. Something that's a little more lighthearted, a little more fun.
Wait, we have a guest?
Yeah.
Yeah, the viewers. They're our guests.
Oh, how special.
In our homes.
You mean something to us.
So, another thing from Right Wing Watch, and this is, this is just something that's absolutely fucking terrible. Whenever something terrible happens, or something really sad and tragic, just start the stopwatch, because it's not going to be very long before someone jumps on it and starts trying to make it about their, pet agenda. And this is the Sandy Hook shooting. Bryan Fischer spent the first hour of his radio program talking about the shooting, and he said that God didn't stop the shooting because he's a gentleman who doesn't go where he's not wanted. And because we took prayer out of school, that's why that shooting happened.
Yeah,
That's a horrible statement, but who is Bryan Fischer?
Oh God, I just read this.
He's a radio televangelist, isn't he?
He's a radio.
Oh, he's an
a radio
evangelist.
personality.
He's a religious figure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he wasn't just like a shock jock or something.
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know who he was.
No, he's a radio televangelist. I forget the name of his network.
He actually works for the American Family Association.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the director of issues analysis for the AFA, and he hosts a radio program called Focal Point on American Family Radio. Oh, and he runs the AFA-run blog Rightly Concerned.
Nice.
Yeah, he opposes abortion, national health care, environmentalism, gay adoption, same-sex marriage, and of course, he's a fucking asshole.
Well, you know what? Judging by that statement, I would have never came to the conclusion that he supported those issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just, ugh.
These guys are all cut
Um,
from the same mold.
So he said that God didn't stop the killing, stop the shooting.
Could have.
But he's
God could have, but he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't go where he's not wanted.
and it was because a prayer was removed from school, or that it was not
prayer's
in school.
Prayer's not in schools anymore. So
So this is the what happens, and when any of these tragedies happen, everybody starts pointing the finger and assigning blame. If that guy would have written a note and said, God told me to do this, and he was a devout evangelical Christian, youth wannabe, then everybody would go, oh, well, he's not a real Christian.
Well, we know that happens for a fact. The guy in Norway, was it Norway?
Yeah.
Come out that he was hardcore Christian, and
Right.
even
and they would always say like, oh, well, he's not. He doesn't represent us.
Yes, on a dime, Fox News, Bill O'Reilly, because I used to watch it all the time. On a dime, he was just totally trashing this guy, and then when that came out, he totally pivoted. He goes, "He's not a true Christian. He's not a true Christian. There's no way he's a true Christian. True Christians don't do this."
Right. But all right, so there's that tactic, and then when they if they don't have to like spin it that way, then they say, oh well, they start blaming this is God's judgment or God's wrath or God could have done this, and the whole like we took prayer out of schools thing is such a lie, and it's so disingenuous. If a little kid, if a person in school wants to exercise their right to pray, they are absolutely free to do so. Absolutely free to do so. No one has any authority to stop you from praying in school. What you can't do is, as a teacher, as a representative of the school, the board, the government, you cannot lead prayer in school.
yeah, and I think that's the nuance that's lost on these people. Like it's because they're not getting special treatment anymore, so therefore they equate it with being discriminated against.
Well, we talked about that last episode. How Pat Robertson, was it Pat Robertson? Yeah,
It was Pat Robertson. Yeah. You can pray in school if you want. You absolutely, as an American citizen, have that right. You can pray wherever the hell you want. You could be in the middle of a church, or not a church, a courthouse that was on public property inside of a fucking federal building and wrapped in a school, and you would still be able to pray. Like,
right, as an individual,
what are you doing?
You have every right to pray, and you should exercise that right. I want you to go out and do it. But what you can't do is you can't. It's when personal speech becomes government speech. That's when you cross the line. And government speech cannot endorse any one religion.
yeah, that's exactly it. And if there was Hindu prayer led, these people would still have the same problem.
Yeah.
It's not that prayer's taken out; it's that
Their prayers.
their prayers are taken out.
Yeah.
And that's
true too.
That's the I think that's the problem. So with the last 20 minutes, I want to talk about something that a friend gave to me. She was cleaning out her house. She used to actually work for the James Randi Foundation, and just moved recently, and she moved down the street from me, and she's cleaning out her house and getting rid of all this stuff. And she had never played this game, but this game is awesome. It's called Playing Gods.
Playing Gods.
And as you can see, you have Buddha with a chain gun, and you have Kali, and you have Moses with the 10 Commandments about to beat Buddha over the head, and Zeus is up there.
That game looks so fucking awesome.
It really is. And there are these...
But it's already inaccurate because Moses was not a god.
Yeah.
yeah.
Throw it in the trash.
Yeah. There are these wrath cards.
Wait, hold it still for a
here.
second. One of your preachers is found with a prostitute. Lose 1 second.
Oh no!
That's awesome.
That's a conversion card. And then there's plagues and floods, and You go around the board.
That's
You have your little god token here. Let me pull out some.
So
god
what
tokens.
gods
There-
can you be?
Well, here, that's the cool thing is there are 5 tokens that are religion specific. You have
Ooh.
Kali.
Are you gonna paint
Nice.
I should. Buddha with a chain gun.
him? Ooh.
Oh, very cool.
I like chain guns.
Are you ready for the death threats?
Let's do it. Bring it up. Well,
Is that
bring it down.
Muhammad?
Bring it down.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks like he's giving us
Does
the
he?
finger.
Does he? No, he has a bomb in his
There's a
hand.
bomb in his hand.
He has a bomb, no
That's-
shit.
Yeah, it's around anarchist.
Put that in
time.
focus.
There's Moses.
Moses with the Decalogue, and then a really buff ass Jesus swinging across.
Oh hell yeah!
Nice. So I guess you've got all of the Abrahamic religions represented.
Yeah, plus Buddhism, plus Hinduism. But you also get this little thing right here, and it comes with all these stickers
Oh, nice.
that you can place on it. You know, everything from flying spaghetti monster to technology to Jehovah's Witness to Cthulhu.
Oh, there
Satan.
you go.
No, they should have. They see that's the downfall of this game. They should have actually done a Cthulhu figure.
Yeah,
Because-
honestly.
But then Cthulhu always wins, right?
Yeah.
He would win all the time.
Yeah, but they could have still done the figure. I mean, come on.
They have an expansion pack, and this is like some of the cards from it. You know,
Gain 3 Jewish deck, gain Muslim sex.
Kill 3 Buddhist sects.
yeah. That one is monks blamed as bad role models when young boy sets self afire to protest homework.
Oh,
Kill
my
3
God.
sects. You know, church group saves lives when during disaster when government fails. Gain 3 Christian sects. Write sacred texts in a dead language, then complain nobody reads them. Kill 3 Hindu sects. You know? This is my favorite one. Pagan Romans killed Jesus, but Jews get the blame. Enough. Gain 3 Jewish sects.
But Jews get the blame.
Yeah.
Somebody's
it's
going to hell
great.
because of this game.
I remember playing Monopoly and fighting over who's going to be the top hat. I'm going to get in a fist fight to be Muhammad.
Yeah, I played as Buddha with a chain gun the other day because I love it. But the board is the planet, and then your tokens move around the outside here, and you put tokens that represent your sects on the individual areas of the continent.
So it's in classic Class of the Titans, gods looking down to the earth.
There's a right up the road from right down the road from us. There's a really expansive game shop.
Yeah.
I'm going there.
I bet they would have it.
I bet they would too. That sounds so cool.
And when you get it, I will play it.
Oh, we're gonna play it.
Yeah. Oh, I can bring it up to the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, when you come up, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, what we
That'll be an episode.
No, well, yeah, that's what I was
We're
just
gonna
about to
play
say.
the
We should definitely record this show.
Well, it takes 30 to 90 minutes to play.
Well, we
Oh, there
won't
you go.
record the whole show, but
Yeah.
the whole game.
And it's put out by Balls Out Entertainment.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh.
They got that
But
snappy name that's easy to remember.
It's the Playing Gods, the board game of divine domination. And like I was saying, like you go around, you collect cards, and there are wrath cards and conversion cards. And the conversion cards, some of them are things like, gain a sect, blah, blah, blah. But a majority of them are actually things like communion and scripture,
I'm scared of those.
prosperity.
So how do you win?
You defeat the other gods by either converting or killing off all of their sects.
Well, Christianity's going to win every time.
Yeah.
I was playing against my friend Adam, and he was playing as Jesus, and he started in South America because you get to pick your continent you want to start in. And I had converted most of his sects out of South America, but he was all over Africa and Europe. And I was like, hey, it's just like real life. Christianity no longer exists where it started.
So
And
is
I'm
it?
sure a majority of the adherents are now confused as to the race of their savior.
So this is like Risk, but without the tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Risk, but you can call down plagues of locusts.
Oh,
Always
hell yeah.
a good time. So not to nerd out a little bit too much on this game, but
It's too
Um,
late.
dude, like, so is it just purely chance? Do you just go around and it's just chance, or is there strategy involved? Is there like a best way to
It's like
spike
diplomacy,
and to
but-
wreak havoc and call
Well,
down disasters and floods?
Yeah. The cool thing is you can choose, like, when you gain sex, you can either choose to expand into areas that don't have them, or you can sort of reinforce your areas. You roll the die and you can move in either direction. And then you can, like, if you see that you can land on someone, say you're on a spot and my god comes over and lands on your spot, I get to take one of your cards as well as get any benefits granted by that space, like, say, drawing a
Wow.
wrath card or gaining a sect or something.
It's good to be king.
Yeah. Hey, right on. Well, that sounds fun. I'm gonna go look for that game tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And when you kill a god, you get to take all of his stuff.
oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's like real life.
If you kill someone, you get to take their stuff.
No, I'm saying with gods, because that's what Christianity's done. Is that like take
Oh,
all the
yeah.
other religions
Okay,
and say
yeah.
no.
Every god starts with a conversion card face up, and they're like, either prosperity or afterlife or something. But say I had prosperity and I killed you off and you had afterlife, I can take your afterlife card, and
Oh, so now you offer prosperity and
And-
afterlife.
exactly.
Ah,
Yeah.
see, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's awesome, and you can combine the wrath cards to kill off more sects. So like,
You can hit them
Like
with
a-
floods and locusts.
well, like a flood kills off one sect, but if I combine a flood with a mudslide, it kills off 3 sects. And if I have, tornadoes, floods, mudslides, and volcanoes, I kill off 6 sects.
Mm.
And then there's special ones that have no element that are plagues, darkness, locusts, and famine, and they all kill 2 sects.
This sounds like so much fun.
It really is.
I
I had a
cannot
blast
wait.
playing it. My only regret is that I didn't play it sooner. I got it maybe about a month ago from my friend Carrie.
Oh
It
my
kinda
gosh,
sat at my
that's
house for a
really
little
cool.
while.
We definitely need to play that game. I'm gonna have to go get that.
Well,
There goes my comic book
there
money for the
goes.
week.
Yep. But before we wrap it up, I want to give everyone homework, even you, the listener.
Oh no.
I was looking up JRev, and I typed in JRev, and
Giraffe.
I know, but I put JREV just to
Oh.
see what would come up, and the Jesus Revolution came up,
Yeah.
and it's very, very creepy. So between now and the next show, you should look it up. Look up the Jesus Revolution. I think it's JesusRevolution.org, but I could be wrong. Just do JRev, letter J R E V in Google, and it should be the first thing that pops up.
J-Rev.
And it's crazy, and I want to talk about it next week. So, you want to take us out,
Okay.
kid?
Oh,
Yeah,
before we
sure.
go, I remembered,
wait,
I
wait.
remembered who
Doc-
those people
hold on,
were that are so scary that have the doctorate degree from. They were part of the Dominionist movement,
That's right. That's right. From earlier in the conversation,
which is scary.
the people who had the degree from their own school.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Actually, I don't have the doc pulled up because I can't access it on this computer. So, Jason, why don't you take us out?
I don't have the doc pulled up either.
Yeah, but you should at least have all the stuff memorized, like your phone number.
I don't ever call
So
my number.
we'll here cut to the camera. You can say like,
Go.
look right here. We'll do this again. There's a website. Oh,
No, you can't do that because I'm not going to edit that. That's crazy talk.
There's a website here.
Bob is just
Here on
looking
the
crazy
bottom,
now.
there'll be a phone number.
It's
Like
not
a phone number,
happening.
you can call us here.
What I'm going to do is put a
and then
penis in that
maybe
area.
Up here, you can have a Facebook site.
But anyway, so thank you for listening to This Non-Religious Life with the
always like
host
giving
Ken,
Jason things to
Bob,
do.
and me, which is Jason. You can always find us on Facebook. You can find us on Google Plus and Twitter. Just do Zombie Popcorn, you'll find it. But all of our content can be found on zombiepopcorn.com, on Stitcher, and on iTunes. If you want to email us at nonreligiouslife at zombie-popcorn.com. I almost forgot the email. It's like the easiest email. It's the name of our show. Non-religious at
your website.
the thing that I own.
that you run for years.
And if you want to call us, we always welcome phone calls, voicemails, everything. And we'll it's good enough, we'll play it on the show. If it's not, we'll still play it on the show. Number is 757-337-2195. Again, that's 75.
To see that. That I don't know. And the thing is, I don't think we're gonna see the Tebow sex scandal until he's like much older. It's gonna happen. It'll probably be much later in his life.
But nobody
it's gonna happen.
he
It's
hasn't
gonna
the
happen.
Tebow.
I can see the head.